Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday. It is Monday, the start of a new week. And as usual, because it is Monday, I will be working on finishing up the new issue of MMT Trader. If you would like to get a copy of that issue, which will be out later today, please go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com, and sign up for a 30-day free trial. In the meantime, while you're doing that, you could download all the back issues and check those out. All right, I want to talk a little bit about the tariffs, the steel tariffs. I got a text message from a buddy of mine over the weekend. The guy actually, he works in the steel industry. He's a steel trader, very, very knowledgeable guy. So, you know, I take his comments to heart. And he was very frank with me, telling me that these tariffs are going to be an unmitigated disaster. It's going to raise prices across the board. It's not going to create any jobs. It could probably end up costing hundreds of thousands of jobs. It's the price increases will not be shared by steel workers in the form of higher incomes. He's saying they're already the highest paid, some of the highest paid industrial workers because of very strong unionization. Anyway, he painted a very, very negative picture of what's going to happen as a result. And like I said, I trust this guy's judgment. He's an intelligent guy. He's very informed. He's been in this business a long time. All right. Having said that, here are a few of my thoughts. First of all, if you're going to break the mold, you got to break the mold. What does that mean? You know, we've been 40 years or so with this paradigm of outsourcing and the so-called free trade. It has cost many, many jobs, as we've seen in trade agreements like NAFTA and other agreements, and more importantly, it has suppressed the wages of American workers for a long time, and that has been a component. It's not the only thing, but it has been a component in the almost unprecedented rise in income and wealth inequality. So if you're going to set off in a new direction, if you're going to break the model, you have to break the model. I mean, in Trump, first of all, he said he was going to do this, or at least he alluded to the fact that he was going to do this in his campaign. And this is the first shot across the bow. Now, if you break the model, of course, in the short term, there is going to be disruption. There is no question about it. Like my friend said, you know, I was talking about, I cited the capacity utilization of American industry at 75%. You know, back in the 70s, we were up close to 90%. All right, he said you can't. I mean, you can't. There's not enough capacity in the industry. That might be true right now. Again, if you're going to break the mold, you got to break the mold. And in the short term, there is no doubt going to be disruption. All right, the disruption in the form of higher prices, maybe the loss of jobs, substantial loss of jobs in the industry, you know, and other effects that we will be feeling as a result of this, perhaps even a trade war where some of our trading partners retaliate. There's already talk within the European Union of imposing retaliatory measures, to which Trump said he's going to impose more retaliatory measures if they impose retaliatory measures. So you see how this has the potential to escalate. But again, I'm going to repeat, if you're going to break the model, you got to break the model. It has to start somewhere. And when you break it, there's not necessarily going to be a smooth transition to the new model. There's not. Look what happened when communism ended in the Soviet Union. I mean, it was very, very highly disruptive. Now, we're not looking at something as enormous as that. However, this is a shift. I mean, this is the beginning of a shift, potentially away from a system that has been in place for the last 40 years, all right? Now, let's understand something. in the macro picture, in the longer term, I'm not talking about the short term, where I agree with my friend that there will be disruption and dislocation. But in the longer term, higher prices paid, all right, if we're paying higher prices for steel, higher prices paid equate to higher income earned by somebody, right? Somebody's getting paid that higher price. And again, I guess initially, who's it going to be? It's going to be stockholders. It's going to be corporate executives, CEOs. What else is new, all right? But eventually, the higher prices should incentivize more production. I mean, that's how capitalism works. Let's face it, a lot of you out there, you know, you're all libertarian. You always post up these crazy libertarian concepts or comments, you know, leave it alone, the free market, blah, blah, blah. It's going to fix itself. That's a panacea. It takes care of everything. Okay, well, here are your theories. I am actually espousing your theory now that the higher prices paid incentivizes an expansion of capacity and expansion of production. If we are making the steel here, and again, short-term disruption, dislocation, higher prices, loss of jobs, but over time, the market should respond, all right, to those stimuli, and we should see more production in the United States. Now, whereas Trump is being, and I got to talk about something here which I think is very, very important. And, you know, my friend notwithstanding, who I think is a very smart guy, there are a lot of people right now, I would say the vast majority of people right now, who are screaming about this, who are, you know, just crying out these warnings of dire, dire consequences. These are the same people who were talking about the dire, dire consequences of Brexit and the dire, dire consequences of, you know, the Greek crisis and the dire, dire consequences of quantitative easing going to cause hyperinflation. In other words, these are all the same people and economists who got every single macro condition wrong in terms of the outlook. These are the same people screaming now that this is the end of the world, all right? So, me personally, I don't look to those people for a high amount of insight. As a matter of fact, I look to those people as contrary indicators, all right? And these are the same people, like I said, they've been talking about hyperinflation from QE and all that stuff. Again, let me qualify. In the short term, I agree with my friend. A lot of disruption, a lot of dislocation. However, the irony of this, really, it's kind of humorous, is that Trump may look like a genius after a couple of years on this move, as economic growth, as a result of this transformation of the economy, as a result of this completely breaking the mold, shattering the mold, going to a different model, we finally start to get sustained economic growth above 3%, right? We haven't had that for years. I mean, you have to go all the way back to the 1970s before the whole supply side debacle and Reagan and all that stuff, Laffer and all that stuff. You got to go all the way back to the 1970s where you saw consistent 5%, 6% economic growth in the United States. And then we did all that BS with the supply side economics, which it was great for stockholders and it was great for wealthy people. It was terrible, terrible for working people. And it created, again, massive amounts of income and wealth inequality. It led to, you know, the current condition that we have right now. So if you're going to break the mold, you got to break the mold. And it's messy. It's ugly in the beginning. That I will admit to, all right? But you got to look past the short term. You know, and when I'm talking short term, you might be talking about a couple of years, you know, until the economy responds to the new reality. So I wanted to make this video. It's very interesting situation right now. We have not seen anything like this in a very, very long time. It's hard to call the outlook on this. You have to really look big picture, all right? Or you have to look very short term. Short term, yes, dislocation, disruption. In the very big picture, you know, this has a chance to work. This really has a chance to work and fundamentally change the economy. We'll have to see. But anyway, I thought I'd throw in my 2 cents. Again, if you want to get the report today, MMT Trader, go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial. And I'll see everybody later. Maybe. I got a lot of work to do. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.